Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Sorry if you were waiting on the live stream. I was just setting up the room. I've got a new little light that I've set up behind, just trying to test out new things for the setup, for the videos, trying to get the quality a little bit higher. So let me know what you guys think of the new setup with the little light behind. I'm gonna try to get some more different lights as well to illuminate my face and all that kind of stuff. But you guys know what we're here for. What the focus of my channel has been over the past month or so. It's the Euros 2020, and again, I say every single time I go on live stream with you guys, but it's been such a good tournament. Like, I don't think many of you or any of you will disagree with me to say that this has been one of the best Euros until now that I've watched. The competition level has been high. There's not been any crazy matches where it's been just like one team dominating completely. Wales Denmark's probably the worst one in terms of score line, but all the matches have been very balanced, lots of good tactical awareness from all teams. Every team is well prepared, every team is physically fit. As we know these days, these footballers are proper athletes now. It's been a great spectacle. But what we're here to preview today, what we're here to talk about, is the clash of the Titans, as I've titled it below, and in my video description. Italy versus Belgium. Italia contra Belgio. Two of the teams that many teams would probably say are the favorites for this tournament, right? Oh, we got big up Just Juve Giuseppe in the house. My man, he's gone on to do big things already. This guy's only had his channel for a year. Make sure to check his channel out. And unfortunately, he's a Juventino. So yeah, if you're not Juventino, you probably maybe don't check it out. But I think he's doing some Euro related content as well. Just to support the guy, for a good friend of the channel, and I've been on his channel as well. We did a Inter versus Juve, the derby preview when the Inter smacked Juve the first time round this past season. And then I need to get him on my channel hopefully soon. We'll get him on my channel, because he's a busy man now. He does Twitch for Juve as well. But yeah, shouts out to Giuseppe. Oh, did I make I apologize. It seems like I made a mistake in my title. I said a round of 16 prediction. I meant to say quarterfinals predictions. But actually, Matembi, if that's how you say your name, I apologize if it isn't. But you make a good point. Oh, thank you, Giuseppe, for the little super chat. I heard you sympathize for Juve as well. I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure where you got that one from, but appreciate the support for the channel, bro. Thank you very much. But as I was saying with MB, let's talk about, because I obviously talked about my predictions for the round of 16, so let's get into those first. So who I predicted to go past, and I think that I did quite well. I think you guys should respect me now, because when we in my last video, before my reaction video to the Italy-Austria match, I predicted, I talked about who would go through or do in the round of 16. So I got most of them right, to be honest. I got the big one that most people were surprised about was the Netherlands versus Czech Republic, and I predicted Czech Republic to beat Netherlands there because the Frank de Boer tax. I just had a little feeling, even though they were doing well, Inter fans will know, Frank de Boer, this guy is not a good coach, was a great player, but as a coach he stinks, and that's what happened. Czech Republic surprised them. Matthijs de Ligt, Giuseppe, if you're still in the house, doing what he does best, playing handball, playing volleyball, getting sent off. Unfortunately, he's a great defender, but he was so unlucky there. It happens. But yeah, so that one was a surprise. I was saying that there needs to be a shock in there, and that one was the first shock of the tournament. But then the other one I didn't predict, and that was the biggest shock for sure, was France, Switzerland. Xhaka, Shaqiri, and them guys there came through and surprised and kicked France out. What a match that was, man. Watched it all from start to end with my dad. We were just on the edge of our seat. Couldn't believe it how France let that happen. These guys on paper should be brushing them aside. We saw that Switzerland team against Italy. We beat them 3-0. They looked okay on the day, for Switzerland. It was just France just didn't turn up. They just had no intensity, no fight. The infighting in between them, the Mbappe, Giroud rumors at the start of the tournament. They were talking about, the Benzema Giroud stuff, and at the end of the match, I heard Rabiot's mom was like, saying all sorts of stuff. So there wasn't that dressing room harmony in that team that we see with other teams like Italy at the moment. So I guess in the end it wasn't a surprise, but the fact that it was Switzerland was a massive surprise. I also got correct Croatia versus Spain. Everyone in my stream last time, because a lot of Interisti obviously were pulling for Croatia. And yeah, in the end, I said it was be Spain because, Morata's missed a lot of chances. Moreno, all these guys have missed a lot of chances. But XG, they had the highest XG, which means they were creating lots of good chances. And at some point, surely players of this quality will start to take their chances. And that's what happened against Croatia. They created lots of chances and they took them. Even going down behind with that, the craziest, the funniest goal of the tournament, the way Unai Simon conceded that goal was, absolute, it goes down in those football blooper videos that you'll see in 10, 20 years time on TV at some point. But yeah, Spain looking stronger now. Actually, I wasn't particularly impressed with them. They look like they're getting stronger as they go on. Then I also predicted Belgium, Portugal. Obviously, we'll look at Belgium coming through now against Italy. I also got England versus Germany. Everyone was saying England would be kicked out. I'm seeing a lot of hate towards England, to be honest. Everyone's hating on England. And as a person who lives in England, I can't hate them, guys. I just can't hate England. I live here, I enjoy my life here. I have friends that support England. I can't hate on them. They're not my favorite team. But the fact that everyone's like really disliking them, because I'm a bit of a contrarian sometimes, so it's actually making me like England a little bit more now. And I'm actually quite enjoying the fact that a lot of people are hating on them. But I don't want England to win for sure. I can say that. They're not my favorite team. They're not my worst team, but I don't want England to win. But, once again, they're getting the job done. 0 goals conceded, guys. There's only so much hating you can do without giving credit where it's due. Southgate has seen the recipe of what teams in the past have won the Euros with. Portugal 2016. What was their recipe? Terrorism, complete terrorism. They barely even played a good match, barely even scored goals, but in the end they got the job done. And that's what England are doing. They're not looking great. They're not playing great football. They're pretty defensive formation, matching up against Germany last time round, but getting the job done. So credit where it's due to Southgate. I don't agree with any of his lineups. That team should be, I think, Sancho, Bellingham, players like that should be getting a lot more play time. But who am I to criticize if he's doing well? And the one I did get wrong though was Sweden-Ukraine. I thought Sweden would take that one, but Ukraine, Shevchenko coming through there. So yeah, it's been an interesting round. So let's see in the next round of prediction how I do. It'll be obviously it gets harder and harder to predict correctly, doesn't it? Let's see who's in the house for the moment anyway. Mohammed, what's up, bro? The only good thing he done for Inter was being Juve. I'm not sure who you're talking about there. Who is my favorite to win the Golden Boot now? Appreciate your support. Hardly working. It was at the beginning of the tournament was Lukaku, and I still would say Lukaku. Actually, who is? Let me have a look who the top scorers are right now in the tournament. Good question, because I haven't checked. I know Patrick Schick is up there. Oh yeah, Ronaldo's top scorer at the moment was 5. Obviously, he's out. Schick is on the second with Benzema with 4. Forsberg on 4. Wow, he's got a few goals. So yeah, let's keep an eye out on Forsberg, man. Seferovic with 3, Lukaku with 3, Sterling on 3. It is looking hard actually for Lukaku now to get that Golden Boot, right? Let me share this with you. Let me share this with you guys. Yeah, so you can see, I reckon at this rate, Ronaldo might end up just staying top of the leaderboard, because that's what it is in Euros. Especially in the latter stages, it gets harder and harder to score. If you need to, you get your goals in the early stages. That's where you need to stat pad. I remember Griezmann in 2016. He got a lot of goals in the group stage. Yeah, and especially now Lukaku against Italy, and then whoever's going to be next is going to be probably Spain. It gets harder and harder to score. I wouldn't be surprised, like someone like Schick, Schick getting one more goal up there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up. What do you guys think? It's quite a hard one to call. Lukaku was my guy from the beginning, but I don't see it happening now. I don't see it happening. Definitely, it's not someone from Spain now, because their goals kind of spread out all over the team. They don't have like one main goal scorer. You never know. Forsberg getting a shock. He takes the penalties, getting a shock golden boot. That'll be interesting for sure. It'll be a nice change from the usual suspects. We got more Giuseppe fans in the house. Yeah, he was talking about De Boer. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's the only thing he did. Yeah, beat Juve. International tournament make us unite. That's for sure, man. I don't care if you're a Juve fan, if you're a Milan fan, whatever you are. If you support in Italy, we're together in this for sure. Forsberg's out. Oh man, damn. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Forsberg is out. What the hell am I on about? Yeah, you see, caught me slipping there. Apologies. Yeah, so Schick. Let's go for Patrick Schick, man. Redemption season. I've always liked Patrick Schick when he was at Sampdoria. And, when he was at Roma, it didn't quite work out. He was supposed to be a Juve player. He was there at the medical, everything, and then he failed the medical. But he's a talented player. I've always liked him. And, sometimes you have these kind of seasons like the Milan. He's having like a Milan Baros season or tournament, you could say, Patrick Schick. So, yeah. But even Sterling, as Justin says, Sterling, this guy, no one in England rates, well, not no one, but most people in England wouldn't start Sterling in their starting 11. He's always a controversy when he's starting because he's had a bad season or an average season for Man City where he lost his place. And then Southgate just loves him. And that's the type, this is the type of player that I was saying with Bernardeschi. I know he's not a starter for Italy, but Mancini just likes him. And it doesn't matter how bad of a season he has for Juve. Mancini picks Bernardeschi over like anyone else for some reason. So it's just one of those international managers just have their favorites, and Sterling is one of the favorites for Southgate, and he's one of the few guys that gets behind the defense for England. Everyone, all of England's midfielders and wingers like to get the ball at feet and run with it, but Sterling is actually one of the guys that runs in behind, runs further behind Kane and everyone else. So he's getting his reward with his runs and his timing and his finishing. His finishing is usually questionable, but he's doing well. So yeah, sorry, just I realized everyone's telling me. Hey, Lord Figo in the house. What's up, bro? Legend of the Twitter game, obviously. Porta Zuri from Pakistan. Yes, Baijan from Pakistan showing love. But yeah, let's get into the Italy-Belgium preview, guys. That's what we're here for, really, aren't we? I always get sidetracked in other things, but it's always good to talk with you guys about everything that's going on. Let me pull up the predicted lineups for this big match. Obviously, Italy fans will remember the last Italy-Belgium game from the 2016 Euros, where Antonio Conte's very average Italy team beat Belgium. Was it 2-0? Yeah, it was 2-0. Bonucci took Giaccherini the first goal, where Bonucci's long ball to Giaccherini, and Giaccherini takes the best touch of his life. I don't think he's ever taken that touch even in training, probably. The guy scored a great goal. And then Graziano Pelle getting the clincher, wasn't it? That Eder and Graziano Pelle partnership up front, doing bits. Crazy times. Back then, when Belgium was still coming into this golden age, or this golden generation that everyone calls, they were still in their, some of them were still quite young or going into their peak. But now a lot of them are past their peak, especially that back line. Vertonghen, Vermaelen, Alderweireld, these are all the guys in their 30s now, even mid-30s. In the case of Vermaelen, Mertens is now 32, 33. Hazard is, not the same player anymore since he's moved to Real Madrid. Witzel's in his 30s. Tielemans is definitely, one of the nice and up-and-coming ones. Muniz, mid 20s, late 20s. So this is it for Belgium. If they're gonna do it, this is the time to do it. What's the average age? You can see that the average age is 30.2 compared to Italy's 28. So it's an old team compared to some of the other ones out there. But there are some key players who are right in their peak, and there's no one better at the moment, I think, as a striker than Romelu Lukaku. Not even into bias. I think you guys, even if you're a Juve fan, I think you can admit that Lukaku has taken this form from the Serie A into this tournament. I know he's only got 3 goals, but in terms of his play, he's just been unstoppable. Even against Portugal, he didn't get a goal, but he was so important in the goal that Bruyne and Hazard scored. He handles defenses on his own nowadays. Like, he's achieved that potential that everyone used to say he could do, or even gone further than that. Courtois, he had a shaky start at Real Madrid, but he's definitely one of the best goalkeepers around. These two are definitely the spine of the team. I would say they're 2 best players at the moment, with the absence of Kevin De Bruyne. So it looks like Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne are big doubts. I think Hazard's definitely out. Hazard, we know he's super injury prone at Real Madrid, and I'm surprised he even lasted this long in this tournament. So I would be surprised to see him making an appearance. But De Bruyne, Palhinha made a bit of a dirty tackle on him. He looked like he twisted his ankle from that tackle, but he didn't take part in training like Hazard. But you never know. He's so important. He is there, alongside Lukaku and Courtois. He's their best player, maybe even above Lukaku and Courtois. He's the star man. A lot of people say he's the best midfielder in the world. I wouldn't say he's that anymore. I think maybe a season or 2 ago he definitely was, but his level is still, he's definitely up there in top 5, top 10. And we've seen the effect this guy brings on. When they were losing against Denmark, this guy came on, assist and a goal, changed the match, even with a broken face. Since the Man City Champions League final, he's had a broken face, thanks to Rudiger. And look at his rating. I think he's got the highest average rating as well in the whole tournament. I think he's got the most key passes, and he's not even played most of the tournament, which just shows the quality. Castagne and Mignolet. I mean, Castagne is an important miss for them because usually he's the starter at the right wing back position, but Meunier is a pretty good substitute for him. But yeah, De Bruyne is definitely going to be a big miss. Hazard's, as I said, he's picked up form recently in the last few matches, but he doesn't look like the Hazard of Chelsea. He doesn't look like that Hazard that used to change matches on his own. He played well against Portugal. He had some nice dribbles, as always. The ball retention, using his bum, as Yaya Toure in his article pointed out, a very important usage of his bum. One of the best players to use his backside to protect the ball. But he's not going to be that big of a miss to me, in being honest, because he's not been that big of a part for this tournament for them, or this past year for Belgium. I don't think he's scored for almost 2 years for Belgium, Eden Hazard, even though he's still technically their captain. So it will depend on De Bruyne. I think if De Bruyne manages to make this match, then everything changes, because with Carrasco and Mertens behind Lukaku, I feel a lot more comfortable. Carrasco, good player, came back from China to Real Madrid, to Atletico Madrid, had a good season from what I understand at Atletico. They won the title. He was starter most of the time, played wing back a lot of the time as well. But as we saw in a couple of counterattacks against Portugal, he's not the most effective or efficient guy. He can waste a lot of chances. He hasn't got the most goals in him or assists in him. He's a good dribbler with some good pace, but I'm not too worried about him. Mertens as well. He's a great player, as we know. Inter fans will know, as always Italy fans will know, from Napoli. Napoli's all-time top scorer, but in this position here on the right side, he's a little bit wasted. He wants to be on this side where Carrasco is. He doesn't look anywhere near the player that he usually does for Napoli in this Belgium system, to me, especially when De Bruyne or Hazard aren't there. So I feel a lot more comfortable if this is going to be the Belgium lineup against Italy. In the centre back position, Vermaelen comes in, but they've also played Denayer and who else did they play there? There's Denaya and Boyata. But Vermaelen played in the last match and he did pretty well. But that defense is definitely a weak point that Italy need to look at to exploit. As we said, aging back line, aging, also slow. Also, even at their peak, they weren't particularly the most solid defenders, speaking strictly defensively. Vertonghen, good on the ball, good physicality, good athlete, but defensively can definitely be suspect. Same as Vermaelen. He's always been, since he's moved to Barcelona, super injury prone, not particularly the most reliable defender. Alderweireld at Spurs, we know as well, good on his day, but also can have his lapses of concentration. And Thorgan Hazard, who's playing left wing back, and he's not even a wing back, so definitely an area that Italy can look to exploit. This left hand side of Belgium, I feel like it could be a weak point for show. But there is Witsel there, who's come back really well from Achilles injury. Achilles injuries are very difficult to come back from, and he's done well. Almost 5-6 months out, I think it was, and he's come back and it looks like he's never had an injury, and he's solid defensively, whereas Tielemans is the one that does a bit more damage going forward. He's had a great season for Leicester. I've watched Leicester a lot this season, and he is one of my favorite Leicester players for sure. But that midfield can definitely be, dominated, as Portugal showed against Belgium in the last match. There's a 2-man midfield. Carrasco, Mertens might drop in a little bit, but you can definitely outnumber them and you can outplay them in that midfield. So overall, a very strong team, Belgium, but I see weaknesses, and I can see Italy outplaying them for sure. I think this Belgium team on paper, it looks great, but Italy can do damage. Everything Pashtoye says, Lukaku is one of the best in the business, no doubts for sure. Mo, what's up, bro? On paper, without De Bruyne and Hazard, apart from Lukaku and Courtois, this is an average team. Yeah, that's my exact feelings. Maybe I wouldn't go as far as say average team, because as I said, Tielemans, Witsel, I rate those guys. Thorgan Hazard's really kind of grown now. I think he's overtaken. I think it's no controversy to say that he's overtaken his brother now in terms of performance levels and maybe not ability, because Eden will always have that ability and the natural talent over him, but actual regularly performing Thorgan is now a good player for sure. But yeah, apart from those guys, it's a just above average team, I would say. So I'm glad you agree. Justin Hazard be twerking on these dudes, word to Yaya. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, let's get into Italy's team. Hardly working. No place for Locatelli. Cenk in the house, my guy. Obviously, he's going to be supporting Azzurri now that the Turkey are out. I know my guy's got a little weak point for the Azzurri. Yeah, Courtois has a wall as well. Let's have a look at Italy's team. And yeah, the talking points for Italy's team are the same as we had last time round. It's the midfield. And still, bloody who scored? Keep putting Barella on the left. It keeps annoying me every single time. And we might have to email HQ at who scored, whoever does these lineups, because they always put Barella on the left-hand side and Verratti on the wrong side. Midfield. Sure, let's start from the midfield. Everyone wants to talk about this midfield. As I've said, Jorginho is the one unmovable. He's played every single match, even the one against Wales where team rotated, he was still there. I think he's just Mancini's regista. He might not be everyone's choice. I know Mo would start probably Locatelli or Verratti in that role, but you gotta go, like as I've said, in the tournament, you just go with who's in form, I think. And Jorginho has been in great form. He's been one of the best players for Italy, in my opinion. And you just have to keep him there. Now, the other places are definitely up for grabs now. The Verratti Locatelli has been, a burning topic in Italy, everywhere else. Anyone watching Italy, that's the one everyone argues about. I've said since Verratti's come back in and he showed that he's fit, for me, Verratti just has to start. Like I was saying about Belgium, Lukaku, Courtois, De Bruyne, these are their elite players. For me, Verratti, Donnarumma, Barella, Bonucci, Chiellini. These are the guys. These are the elite players for Italy's team. These are the guys that are like unmovable to me. So for me, Verratti just has to play. Then you can argue now, Barella actually was my unmovable, but we've seen Inter fans, he's not looked the same towards the end of the season for Inter for a while. There was that period now for the last month or two for the end of the season where Barella just hasn't looked that good. For Italy, he's looked okay, but against the Austria, he looked a little bit off the pace. He looked a little bit nervous, got a silly yellow card, was subbed for Pessina. He looks a little bit tired to me. And that's not his fault. That's, Conte has played him every single match for Inter, even when Inter used to rotate. Barella barely got rotation. There was a period where he got a little injury and he still played through that. He's even since last season, let's not forget that we've had a very short preseason as well. These players have played a year and a half pretty much. And Barella has been one of the mainstays in Inter's team, and his style of play is very intense, guys. We know how Barella plays. This guy is a energizer bunny, gets a lot of tackles, tackled a lot, comes off worse in a lot of tackles. We've seen every time. Inter fans, we've got used to it, but Italy fans are getting used to it, how Barella goes into a 50-50. It usually comes off worse. It looks like it could be a career-ending injury or something. He's rolling around, and then 30 seconds later, he's back up, running around like nothing ever happened. He's made of rubber, the guy, but everyone has a limit. Everyone's body, he's human. Everyone's body has a limit, and he looks a little bit off the pace to me, but I still can't imagine Italy's midfield without him. He's the one who offers that intensity. There's been calls of maybe because of Pessina's form to put Pessina in there, but for me, I just don't see how you can replace Jorginho and Barella. So for me, once again, I would keep. For me, this is the midfield: Jorginho, Verratti, Barella. I think it matches up well with Belgium midfield. Maybe Locatelli would add a little bit more physicality, a bit more height, especially against someone like Witsel, who is a little bit more physical, a bit taller. Maybe you do need a little bit of height in there to win some of the headers, some of the physical battles. But let's not underrate, Barella. Physically we know he's short, but this guy he will fight. He will fight with you, even if you're 6'7", 7 foot. Like this guy will, and we've seen him battle Kessie and come off, the better side against Frank Kessie, who's an absolute tank. Verratti as well. I think his battling side is underrated. We've seen against Wales and Austria, this guy can get stuck in. So let's not underrate that side of things. But obviously, there's limitations to what they can do. In terms of Verratti's definitely, defensively a little bit susceptible in terms of tracking runners. He can be beaten quite easily 1v1. Players can run past him easily because obviously he doesn't have that reach, that leg power, so to say. But I think this midfield can do well against the Belgium midfield. I think they can outplay that Belgium midfield for sure. So I would stick with that midfield. What are you guys saying? Let's have a look. You think it's a matter of time before Italy's defense lets them down? They've not conceded a goal in a while in the first 90 minutes, but when that good defensive run ends, it could end badly. Yeah, it has been one of my worries, the defense, to be honest. I've said it since the beginning. Only one goal conceded. I think only England, apologies, only England have done better than Italy. But it's a worry for this match. Belgium's pace, which, actually with De Bruyne missing, there probably is more pace in the team now because Carrasco and Mertens coming in. If Italy play a high line, and this is going to be the interesting tactical battle. Are both teams, who's going to be dominating the ball? Because we saw against Portugal, Belgium, they reverted to a much more defensive lineup. They let Portugal have the ball. They went deep. Actually, there's a few little tactical snapshots that some analysis did. So this is from Total Football Analysis. Shouts out to them. They did a nice tactical look at the match, and we saw Belgium outmatched Portugal's midfield because Hazard and someone else would step into the midfield. De Bruyne coming all the way back here just to outnumber their midfield. So that's why it's important that we have a technical midfield to keep the ball from Belgium's midfield. You know, they create this 4 versus 3, but we also have a lot of times Insigne steps inside and almost becomes a midfielder. And we've seen Di Lorenzo tucks inside, so we can definitely create those overloads. But defensively, Belgium, as I was saying, they went very deep, very defensive, 5-3-2 or 5-2-3, sorry, defensively, and then looking to counterattack. You can see here getting the ball back and, you know, straight away looking forward, looking for Hazard there into the space, and we saw Lukaku on the counterattack. That's the big worry, isn't it? Lukaku on the counterattack versus Chiellini versus Bonucci. If he is going to be Chiellini, we'll see. He's a big doubt, but that's a big worry. Lukaku has become devastating on the counterattack. There was a couple of times against Portugal where, you know, he lost the ball or his dribbling wasn't quite good enough, but you can't give Lukaku 2 or 3 chances in the match to try to do that, because one of those times he will get it right. And one time he did get it right, Carrasco messed up because he should have, you know, shot or give the ball to someone else or pass straight back to Lukaku, who straight offside. But it's a scary prospect when Lukaku gets going, and we know as Inter fans, it's nice to watch when he's on your team, but when he's on the other team, it's a scary prospect. So I envisage both teams not really trying to play high lines, because same for Belgium, as we said, aging, slow back line. They won't want to give Immobile or Chiesa or Insigne, whoever plays Berardi, space in behind to run in or, you know, counter-attacking. So both teams would want to have that counter-attacking play, I think. And but none of them are going to give it to each other. So I think it's going to be quite a chess match. I don't think it's going to be as open as maybe some people think. And yeah, let's look at who should play up front. Actually, let's just cover off the defense quickly, because there's doubts on who's going to play. But I think if Chiellini's fit, he's going to play. He's a doubt at the moment, but he took part in training yesterday and today from what I read. If he's 60-70% fit, I think Mancini's going to risk him, which is not ideal, to be honest. I think you risk him getting injured again. You know, Juve fans will know this guy gets injured a lot now. You can't even rely on him for 90 minutes, as we saw against who was it, against Switzerland, that he got injured, you know, 30 minutes through, and Acerbi had to come in cold. So I would rather not risk Chiellini if he's not 100 or even 90-80% fit. If he's 60-70, I would hope Mancini doesn't risk him, just for the sake of, you know, having that Bonucci-Chiellini partnership, which would be the ideal. If it isn't Chiellini, I would put Bastoni. I know he's obviously been picking Acerbi, and he's done okay. Acerbi, as I've said, I've got no problem with Acerbi. He's a good defender as well. But with Bastoni, knowing Lukaku, having that, you know, that knowledge, inside knowledge of training with Lukaku for 2 years, and in general, I just think, you know, Bastoni is just as good as Acerbi in every single department, but he's superior definitely in athletically and on the ball. He's definitely superior to Acerbi. So I think it just makes sense to me to put Bastoni over Acerbi. And for the Lukaku factor, I think that would be an amazing battle to watch, Bastoni versus Lukaku. Everywhere else, happy with Di Lorenzo. I think he just keeps his place, even though Florenzi apparently is fit now, but I'm happy with Di Lorenzo. And he will be have to, you know, keep an eye out on Thorgan Hazard. You know, he was out-jumped for that header, you know, for the Arnautovic goal against Austria, which was disallowed. Alaba out-jumped Di Lorenzo, so there is a little bit of weakness there defensively on that side, but I don't have that worry when Thorgan Hazard is playing on that side. But I hope Di Lorenzo also, I know he always tucks in and becomes a 3 at the back with Di Lorenzo, but I would like to see someone trying to push Thorgan Hazard a little bit back and not, you know, encouraging him forward. Maybe Barella, as usual, you know, he always drifts out to that right-hand side. Barella coming into that half space here, forcing Hazard to stay back a little bit more. But Spinazzola, obviously, guaranteed star. We need him to have another big match. This guy has been man of the match for like 2 of the 4 matches. So this guy has just been a revelation of the tournament, and hope he keeps going. Hope he doesn't get injured, because this guy is very injury prone. So happy with that back line. And shouts out to Donnarumma as well. He hasn't got much credit because he hasn't got to face many shots, but he had to make that one big save against Austria when that guy hit that volley and the way he reacted was so good. I think it was an underrated save. Maybe some people say we could have done better on that goal, but that was a bit of a freak goal. That the near post, no one expected him to get that header, sneak it into that near post. I think a player should have been on that post anyway. So, but yeah, Donnarumma, a guarantee at the back. Forward line, I think I would start as it is here. Chiesa, I think, needs to start now. Chiesa's proven in the last match that he deserves to start. I was happy with Berardi starting at the beginning. I think he deserved it over the form he had with Sassuolo, the form he had with the national team coming into the tournament. First couple of matches he was good, but against Austria he just looked a little bit out of his depth. I think in these bigger matches, Chiesa has proven he's a big match player for Juventus this season. He scored in big matches. He performed in big matches. Came through for Italy in the last match. Great goal against Austria. That was a great goal. Offers a lot more in terms of pace, a little bit more of, tenacity. Inside, outside, you're not really sure which way he's going to go, even though he's probably, if he plays on the right, he's more likely to go on the outside. Whereas with Berardi, 90% of the time he's going to come inside, which I do like. As I've always said, I like the inverted winger system, but I think Chiesa just deserves to start. Whether it's Insigne or Berardi making way, I don't mind. Actually, Insigne is probably one that it's probably not been spoken about enough, but Insigne, I wouldn't mind having Chiesa on the left-hand side and having Berardi on the right-hand side, because Insigne has not been adding that cutting edge in the last few matches, honestly speaking. We know he's a little bit of a one-trick pony cutting in inside. Whereas with Berardi, at least, he's created a couple of goals this tournament by going on the outside and, whipping the ball in or shooting the ball in. Whereas Insigne, we know he's just going to try that curler. He's always going to cut inside or pass backwards. He doesn't really seem to take on players. He doesn't seem to have that same confidence he does with Napoli. But I'm happy to go with this front line, to be honest. But I think it shouldn't be out of the question. Like, for me, Insigne was one of the unmovables at the beginning of the tournament, but not so much now. Up front, I think it has to be Immobile, even though he didn't have a great match against Austria. His link-up play was poor. He had that great shot that hit the crossbar, but apart from that, I wasn't impressed with him. And these are the matches where Italy fans and, Serie A fans in general have been critical of him, and he didn't really turn up. And Belotti looked a little bit better against Austria, because I guess, the Austrian defenders were quite physical and defending well. So Belotti's sheer kind of shit housing and his way of playing, he's a bit of a powerhouse, isn't he, physically? So it works in that sense. But if you're going to play Insigne, I think Insigne and Immobile's partnership is so good. I think you just have to play those two together. And I think Immobile probably will get a little bit more space compared to the Austria game as well. I don't think Vertonghen, Vermaelen or Alderweireld will be as tough on him as those Austrian defenders were. But we'll see. But we need improvement in Immobile in link-up wise. Like I said since the start of the tournament, I don't really care if Immobile doesn't score any goals. His link-up play needs to be on point. Someone needs to be the Giroud, the glue that brings everything together. I don't care if they don't score, if Belotti or Immobile don't score, as long as they provide that platform for Chiesa, Insigne, the midfielders to come in and score. That's what they need to do. And if they get a chance to be clinical as well. So I would go pretty much, this lineup here that WhoScored has gone for. I would go for that. They've done well until now. Let's have a look at the stats once again. Goals. Italy are wait, let me reload it. It's not loading properly. Italy are the second top scoring team after Spain, joint second with Denmark on 9. Still most shots per game in the whole tournament, 21.8, which is, once again, keeps showing even against Austria when they struggle, they still create lots of shots. Discipline wise, they're still, they're up there with Belgium in terms of, only 3 yellow cards the whole tournament. Really, really well disciplined from the Italians. Possession wise, third in the tournament, so they're a little bit higher than Belgium on 54%, Italy on 56, almost 57. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Italy end up keeping more of the ball, and that's why I want that Verratti, Jorginho, Barella midfield. And aerials one, I think this is one where Italy struggle a little bit, and this is probably why, a case could be made to have Locatelli in there, because if if they're gonna get balls in the midfield with Tielemans and Witsel winning more aerial battles. If we lose a lot of aerial battles in there, Belgium are ranking a little bit higher. Italy with 12.5 aerials and Belgium 15, 1 per match. So yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be a very interesting battle, but it's going to be such a good match to watch, isn't it? We've got a couple of interrelated. We can cover it at the end of the stream. The final seems to be the winners of Italy, Belgium versus England. You share the same view. Can Italy win against England? Will you be supporting England with Italy as you live in the case? No, I support Italy, bro. I don't support England. As I've said at the beginning of the stream, I don't dislike England because I live here, but I definitely don't support England, and I don't really want them to win because people at work and my friends and people like that will just be unbearable. It's coming home, mate. It's fucking hell. It's coming home. But I don't dislike them as much as many people dislike them. I definitely support Italy on my team. And yeah, I agree. I think it's lining up. It's lining up to be like that. The winner of Italy, Belgium, but don't discount Spain because the people that will win this will have to play most likely Spain. And yeah, I will have a look at the other quarterfinals and I'll do my predictions for those. Matembi says, I think Italy have the edge here. I see Belgium playing in Italy's hands. It will be a game of fine margins, and the manager that does the right things tactically will win. Yeah, good point there as well. Mancini versus Roberto Martinez at a tactical level, manager versus manager, coach versus coach. I'll take Roberto Mancini over Roberto Martinez. I think he's the superior coach. He's won more things. He's got more big game experience. He's just a better coach for me. So on that level, it's just I would trust Mancini to outclass Martinez tactically. And Martinez, in this Belgium team, there's not much tactically that they do. They just kind of have this team, and they I don't see really too much imprint from Martinez on this team. Whereas with Mancini, I see this is all Mancini's work. This Italy team, what he's done over the last 2 years, this is all Mancini's work, completely changing the way Italy play. Whereas with Martinez, I don't really see what the imprint is from him. That team is already so good on paper. I don't think you really need that much, and I don't really see what he's actually really added to his team. So we'll have to see. But overall, I definitely rate Mancini over Martinez. Mr. Ame, what's up, bro? With the most England thing ever to beat Germany and then lose to Ukraine. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that would be so jokes, and you wouldn't hear the end of it for if that happened. Yeah, as Justin says, England fans are so annoying. I think everyone's finding out how annoying England fans can be. But I think a lot of people misconstrue or like take it the wrong way. This is coming home thing. A lot of it is like kind of tongue in cheek. They're not saying it seriously. Well, a lot of them are now after the Germany win, but it's more like it's just a little bit of a running joke. It's just it's a nice catchy song that they sing at the pub whenever they get drunk. It's calm, But I know what you guys mean. I know how they can be quite annoying, as Premier League fans a lot of times are. When you think you'll be able to take over as Inter manager, maybe give me like 10 years, bro. I'll do my UEFA A, UEFA B, and then I'll take over. After Stankovic wins the triplete as a manager, I'll take over after him. But yeah, prediction for the match for me, I'm going 2-1 Italy. Without De Bruyne, for sure, I'm going for Italy win. I don't think Belgium will beat Italy without De Bruyne. I think he's too important for them. If De Bruyne starts, it's a little bit trickier, but I still see Italy edging this out. Fine margin, as Matembi said. But I think Italy can do this. I think someone will. I think there will be another midfield goal. I think there will be a set piece goal. I think one of the centre backs will score, whether it's Chiellini or Bonucci. One of them will score from a corner or a free kick, and then one of the midfielders, I think, and then I think Lukaku maybe will get a penalty. Bonucci or Chiellini making a mistake or a handball. So I'm going for an Italy win, 2-1 Italy win. That's my prediction for the match. Italy to go to the next round. I have faith in these guys. Belgium are good. Belgium look great on paper, but I feel like Italy, the form that they're in, I think both teams are coming into great form. I think Belgium are unbeaten in 12. Italy are unbeaten in 31, 32 matches. But I just think this could be Italy's time. I think Italy can reach the semi-finals. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If it goes to penalties, I think Italy will win as well. I think Italy have got ice cold penalty takers. Immobile is a penalty taker for Lazio. Bonucci also takes a lot of penalties, even though he's a centre back. Jorginho takes penalties on a regular basis. I think, in general, it's a good technical team. I think Italy would win on penalties as well. And Donnarumma, he's not the greatest penalty saver, actually. Honestly, when I think about it, Milan fans do make. I don't think he's saved many penalties, but I think he can come up trumps against Courtois in a penalty shootout. Yeah, I'm confident in this Italian team. I'm confident. Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look at the other quarterfinal games and give our predictions, and you guys let me know what you guys think as well. Let me pull up on the screen. Bleacher Report tweet. So Belgium versus Italy. So I'm picking Italy to go to the next stage. Switzerland versus Spain, which actually will be played at 5 p.m. UK time before Italy's match. Switzerland obviously coming in after that shock win against France, so their confidence, their morale will be sky high. But I just don't see. I don't know. I just can't see them. Like Spain, I know they're not being great. They've not been converting chances. The team on paper just doesn't look that good to me. They don't really have a proper striker that really is a bagsman, like a proper gunman. But Spain, I just can't look past Spain in that one. I think Spain will take it. Both teams coming off extra time actually. Which is, so they're on the even playing field. Actually, we forgot to mention Italy are coming off a extra half an hour played compared to Belgium. So hopefully that doesn't, affect Italy too much, having tired legs, which could. So really hope it doesn't go to extra time again in this, because then I think Belgium would definitely have a lot more juice in their legs. But yeah, Switzerland, Spain, I'm going for Spain. Ukraine versus England, as Amit said, it would be such an England thing to do, to lose against Ukraine after beating Germany. But Sheva is doing good stuff with Ukraine. They're looking good, but on an individual level, you just can't see it happening, can you? You just can't see where Ukraine would be able to hurt England. This England team that haven't conceded any goals, look solid defensively, and just get those 1 or 2 chances and convert them. So yeah, I'm going to go for England there. England to progress, and going even more. It's coming home shouts, even more guys in the pub going mad. Czech Republic, Denmark, that's a tasty one. That's a hard one to call, because Czech Republic have been, the kind of surprise package of the tournament, overachieving. Patrick Schick, surprise of the tournament. But Denmark, not particularly a surprise, because on paper they're a good team. But after that Christian Eriksen thing, a lot of people would have said, and I said, these guys are going to just kind of mentally check out, or, kind of just football doesn't go second in the background. But these guys have done really well. Smashed Wales, looked very impressive against Wales. So yeah, there I'm going to go for Denmark. I think they just have a little bit more quality, more cohesion. Even without Eriksen, they're a good team. Damsgaard being one of the revelations of the tournament. Braithwaite is looking good. Simon Kjær has been good. Christensen's been good. Højbjerg, they've got a good team. Whereas, Czech Republic have only got a few standout performers, but the rest of the team is very average. Schick, obviously one of the standout. Kufal or Sufal, the right back, has been one of the best players in the Premier League past season, and he's had a good tournament as well. And Souček as well in midfield. But yeah, so for me, next stage will be Italy versus Spain and England versus Denmark, and we'll see how I'll fare in a few days' time. It'll be interesting to see how fare in this prediction. And yeah, as Matembi says, Spain have that tournament pedigree, but it's not really. They have tournament pedigree as a nation of recent, but a lot of those players are not there anymore now. Ramos is not there anymore. Xabi Alonso, Xavi, Torres, Juan Mata, all those players that, Fabregas, all those players that are there in all these tournaments. I wouldn't say that pedigree is there anymore, but there's still, Sergi Busquets is still a top midfielder. Against Croatia, he balled out when a lot of people think that maybe he's dusted now. There's not much experience in that team, so he is a key cog to that. But yeah, against Switzerland, I just don't see. They've got some good energy coming off the bench. Switzerland with Gavranovic, he's causes havoc. The last few matches I watched off the bench, and Bolo's been good. Shaqiri's always turns up for Switzerland, and Seferovic, as much as you can criticize him on a technical level, missing sitters, he's got a wicked left foot that he seems to, and some heading ability as well, and he likes shushing people up. But yeah, we'll see. I just don't see. If it was someone else, if it was Italy, Spain, I would pick Italy over the Spain team. If it was Belgium, Spain, I would pick Belgium. But against Switzerland, I'll definitely pick Spain. Yes, definitely pick Spain. In my opinion, do you drop Morata or keep him in that team? Sarabia, Gerard Moreno, Ferran Torres sounds more clinical. Yeah, but he's like their only real striker in the team. I know his conversion is awful, and his a lot of the time he doesn't seem like the most confident striker. But you can ask Juve fans, he's very good at bringing other players into the game. His link-up play is really good. One thing that Immobile isn't that good at, Morata is good at bringing people into play. Sometimes his hold-up play is better than it looks. He does look a little bit weak sometimes, but I think his year at Atletico with Simeone has toughened him up a little bit. He does bring the team together, but yeah, on an individual level for finishing or actually scoring goals, I like what I've seen of Gerard Moreno, like in the Villarreal in the Europa League final. He was quite impressive against United, but he didn't even get some playing time in the last match, so it's quite hard to predict with Spain, their team. I had Moreno and Jordi Alba in my fantasy team, and both of them didn't start. So it'll be interesting to see if they play Alba at left back, or Gaia, or Moreno, or Ferran Torres as a false nine, or Morata. But I would go with Morata, even though his reputation is not great. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's pretty much all I had to say in terms of this Italy versus Belgium and general Euro 2020 quarterfinal talk. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me actually, there was one guy who was asking about an Inter question, so let me just get to that before everyone goes. Bellerin or Lazzari. Hey man, I think is clear that who the superior choice there is Lazzari. For Lazio, he's played for Inzaghi. He plays for Lazio in the Serie A. He's played well for Lazio and Spal in the past. He's similar profile to Hakimi in terms of, he's that pacey wing back who's just a cheat code with his pace. Like, you hit the ball to him in the space and he'll get there, even though the ball might look like it's too far. He's a step down from Hakimi. Everyone is. That's the issue. So I've already accepted that everyone's a step down from Hakimi. But he's going to be... We can't afford Lazzari. Lazio, Lotito's going to ask for 20-25 million. And now that Inter taken their coach, the Lotito tax is going to go up even more. So ideally is Lazzari. He's the ideal replacement for Hakimi. But Bellerin, if Arsenal give us the reported deal that Inter are trying to work alone with the option to buy, it just makes too much sense financially, because he's a player who's needs to redeem himself. He's lost his place under Arteta. Doesn't seem like Arteta really rates him that much, and he's not been in great form for a while. at the beginning, last few years ago, Bellerin was like on the rise. Barcelona wanted him. He was in the Spanish national team as well. He had a few injuries. I think he had an ACL injury, which is always a difficult one to come back from. He's super pacey, not as quick as Hakimi and Lazzari, and the ACL injury definitely took some pace out of him as well. But yeah, you wouldn't lose too much in terms of athleticism there, but then you would have to teach him, the tactical side of Serie A, defending properly. Is defensively very susceptible, quite weak. I don't really rate him too much even going forward, even though going forward is his strong point. But the important thing for Inter right now is the financial side of things. So whoever we can get on a free, on a loan with option to buy, that's who's going to come in, guys. We just have to live with it. We have to forget about the Gosens, the Kostiches of this world. Even the I know everyone's been on the Denzel Dumfries hype this tournament. He's available for 15 million, but 15 million is too much for Inter at the moment. We can't. It's just too much money. So forget about those guys. Whoever's going to be is going to be some type of loan or a free transfer, that type of deal. So that's why you might have to do with Bellerin. But yeah, I'll cover Inter-related stuff more deeply in the coming days. Definitely when the tournament's over, it will be back to complete Inter focus. But there are a few news to talk about in the next coming days, so I'll be making an Inter video soon. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Mutembi, Italy winning the tournament. We'll see. I'm not maybe that confident that they'll win it, but I'm confident that these guys can go far and maybe even get to the final. Yeah, with England or someone like that. Do you want Adrian on the free? I'm guessing the Adrian from Liverpool. No, we're not that desperate for a keeper. We are desperate for a keeper, but as in not desperate, that desperate that we want Adrian. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Almost an hour long live stream. Talked about, Italy, Belgium, which we covered in depth, but also talked about Euro 2020 in general. So we'll see if my predictions come true or not. One more comment here from Alexander. What's up, bro? He still thinks Berardi will start. Kiesa's got that 6-man super sub juice. It's true. That's the thing. I'm not mad at any. I've made my opinions clear there who I want to start, but I'm not mad if Locatelli starts over Verratti. I'm not 1% mad at Mancini. If Berardi still keeps his place over Chiesa, I'm not mad. He's earned it. He's deserved it. If Acerbi or Bastoni or Chiellini, actually the Chiellini one, I'll be mad because if he's still not fit and he starts him, then that's a bad decision from Mancini. But between Acerbi and Bastoni, I won't be mad if either of them starts. And yeah, as you said, Chiesa's got that energy, that pace off the bench. Italy's got a bench, to make changes. That's what we saw against Austria. The ability to bring Pessina on, change the match. He's one of the few midfielders that gets into the box. So yeah, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. No worries if you missed the stream. You can always catch it later, rewind, or you can just watch the post-match reaction, guys, after the match tomorrow around 10 p.m. Hopefully, last time Adrian from Rabona TV couldn't come on, but hopefully this time he's able to come on. Or Anthony from Inter Worldwide, whoever's wants to come on can come on. But yeah, make sure you guys leave a thumbs up and subscribe before leaving the stream. Oh yeah, one of my friends told me to remind you guys to hit the notifications bell. I never say that, and someone's pointed me out. So hit the notification bell so you're notified when I do my live streams. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Forza Azzurri, Forza Inter, and yeah, hopefully Lukaku doesn't turn up tomorrow. Ciao ragazzi.